Dhamaka.
जहाँ खड़े हो जाते हैं लाइन वहीं से शुरू होती है।
तुमने कभी किसी से प्यार किया?
This feels like a throwback.
I like how Sujoy gets used to the luxury lifestyle very quickly, you get like a first time upgrade to first class and then going back to second class in the plane is like, what is this life,
Fill in the context to people who don't know.
Oh, all right. Let's do the intro. Let's do like proper people. Now, hi and welcome to a new episode of Khandan Podcast. My name is Asim Bernie and I'm joined with my lovely co-hosts Amrita and Sujoy.
Hey,
Amrita.
everybody.
Hey, Sujoy.
Hey, everybody.
Hello.
So the context is we've been out as people that are not on our Patreon and just listen to the audio version of the podcast. We've been basically Amrita came to London and we've been recording a bunch of YouTube content in a studio, all of us together. That will be dropping on YouTube and TikTok and whatever else. Yamini is editing those episodes now, but it was just so much fun to hang out together that we're not used to hanging out from a distance again. I like the close proximity and body heat of Sujoy being next to me. I feel it much more conducive.
The josh was so high that it took me out, and now I've got COVID. It was a bunch of fun, and follow us on Patreon and then you'll get access to it first, but this will be content that will be available pretty much for everybody. We've already actually posted quite a few behind the scene things and an extra episode which is really fun, and people on Patreon are enjoying it. So join our Patreon. That's the way to be, feel our body heat. Dur se. Social distancing.
Yeah. But we're still also continuing our 80s series. We're wrapping it up. It's kind of the last 3 episodes. So we put a poll up on Patreon to see what the order of the movies would be or how we wrap it up. So we got a lot of votes and then we neglected that result completely and we're just doing our own thing.
Democracy is a fallacy.
Exactly. No. We will be ending with Mr. India. That's going to be happening. So the next episode will be...
you get to decide how it ends. That's democracy.
Yeah. But this episode, we are doing Chaalbaaz.
Yes.
That's the pick we went for. Amrita, how are you feeling about Chaalbaaz?
I'm feeling a little bit bullish, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You're like a crypto coin?
Yes. I'm investing in it. Yeah.
Sujoy, you kind of went for Chaalbaaz. You were like, yeah, I'm feeling this one.
Yeah, because this week I wasn't really feeling well and I had to choose between Chashme Badur and Chaalbaaz to start watching first, and I definitely went for the Sridevi option, and I'm happy I did.
Yeah. Amrita, do you want to give us a little bit of a summary of Chaalbaaz, or shall I read one from the Wikipedia page?
Why not both? So basically, Chaalbaaz is a remake of Geeta or Seeta.
Seeta Aur Geeta.
Which came out in Seeta Aur Geeta, which in turn is a remake of Ramasham, which in turn is basically one of those twins separated at birth by like dastardly villains, and they grow up in very different circumstances and then are reunited as adults.
Yeah. So it's like Wikipedia is basically saying it came out in 1989. It's directed by Pankaj Parashar, written by Rajesh Mazumdar and Kamlesh Pandey. I don't know who these people are. And yeah, I mean, it's supposed to be a slapstick film. Like, I don't know what a slapstick film is. I've heard of slapstick comedies, but not from slapstick films. This was a massive hit at that time. And it really also kind of solidified, not that it needed to be said, but that Sridevi could lead a movie, right? Like people are kind of coming in because it's led as a female driven movie, and Sridevi, it's something that she'd done before, but again, it kind of solidified her position as queen of Bollywood to a certain degree. Um, I'm assuming we've all seen Chalbaz, right? This was not the first time we've been watching it.
Definitely not.
Yeah. Sujoy, what were your earliest memories of how when you saw Chalbaz the first time, and how is it revisiting it now? You're on mute, Sujoy.
If my memory serves me right, I this was definitely a VHS movie for me when I first watched it, and many years later it became a regular feature on Z Cinema. So I rewatched it many times after that as well. It's one of my all time favorites, and it rewatching it this time, it still holds that for me, just because of the sheer star power of Anju and Manju. Manju more than Anju, but oh my God, Sridevi, she's so mass in this. She's with Sunny Deol and Rajnikanth, who are like the pioneers of mass, and they are just second fiddle to her, and I love it. I love it just for that.
What about you, Amrita? Were you cosplaying as Sridevi when Chalbaz came out?
Absolutely, absolutely. I had forgotten until I did this rewatch how many of the dance steps I tried to recreate as a child.
Yeah.
Um, and there are like entire sequences, that are. And the thing is with I mean, we'll talk about the songs later, but a lot of these are like so performance driven.
Mhm.
It's not even the choreography that you remember; it's the expressions on her face.
Hmm.
And it was a wonderful dive back into nostalgia when I was watching this film.
Yeah. Um, I think I came to this movie slightly later. I kind of maybe I remember a lot of the visuals of it, like the poster, especially when she's wearing that kind of Janet Jackson
Mm.
getup she's
Yeah,
in.
Yeah.
yeah.
Very much influenced in it, and we'll get into all of that, all of the choreography and stuff like that. But I remember the visuals of it. But weirdly, and this is like I want to get into this first. Actually, the idea of a twin movie,
Hmm.
because when we were picking, the Khanda, the 80s series, we wanted a bit of everything. We wanted, a movie that was led by a heroine. Because a lot of the 80s, a lot of times we think it's all like male driven movies, but
Mhm.
that's not the case. We had Chalbaz, we had Khun Bhari Mang, but the twin trope is such a Bollywood thing, right?
Yeah.
And also, I was just thinking about it because we just had Sinners come
Mhm.
out in Hollywood, which is a twin movie, but that's for them, it's very unique. Like, it doesn't happen as much as it happens in Bollywood.
Yeah.
And I was kind of trying to analyze why that is watching Chalbaz. And it's just so fascinating because a lot of times you would say that a Bollywood movie, masala movie, doesn't give a lot of facets in terms of performance to the leads, right? You have a flower pot role for the girl, you have a very masculine driven a role for the male, and that's it. You might have one look and that's it, pretty much, very kind of standard. But the twin movie, at least back in that time, and we're thinking of, Sita and Geeta Ram or Sham, that allowed maybe more of a performance where you could
Mm.
have a very clear nuance on I'm doing this character and that character. And I think that's something that appealed to a lot of
Yeah, I
actors.
think in sort of like a filmography way, if an actor did a double role, not just a twin movie, any double role with two different, like even like Satya Pe Satta, or even Shehenshah to some extent, right? A double role with two different, completely different characters. It was a hallmark of they've made it now. The people can sort of trust them, an actor to pull that off in a way. It won't be like Nausikhya, kahan se chala actor and double role bhi kar liya. It wouldn't be like that. It was like, I think it was like that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember when Duplicate came out and Shah Rukh was doing interviews, and he was talking about like what a big deal it was that he was able to do a double role. And what it meant for him as an actor and in terms of the industry and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it's also like, especially in Chalbaz, it's like, she can be very mass gallery playing kind of comedy role, and then she can kind of play the more traditional vulnerable role, and those are things I a lot of times are not like, like, even like we have, maybe now we have more of these movies about women. I was thinking about the Kriti Sanon movie we watched not too long ago, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Dopatti.
Yeah.
I was thinking of Kajol in
Dushman?
Dushman. But they're few and far behind. Like, there's not that many of them, right?
Yeah.
But there's a lot of male ones, like, and they used to be from the start, like, to Amitabh taking on 3 roles, 4 roles at the same time. But it was an event, like, every time they used to do these kind of things. So kind of cool that Sridevi was able to pull these kind of things off as in the 80s, which was not necessarily a very female driven era, I would
Yeah.
say.
Yeah, she had this. She did Khuda Gawah. And which would be, did she do any other? I feel like there's one more.
Lamhe.
Lamhe.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did Lamhe. I feel like there was like one more from like the 70s.
Madhuri did Dil Tera Aashik.
Yeah, that's true.
No, I'm sure Madhuri has probably done a few too.
Sargam also.
Sangeet.
Sangeet.
Yeah, you can say it's Sargam.
Sangeet is such a blah title.
Yeah.
She deserves better.
I know.
And the other thing what I also thought funny is watching Chalbaz, I was thinking that this is such a Anil Kapoor movie.
Okay.
And funny, then a year later they made Kishen Kanhaiya, which is exactly Chalbaz, or like it is clearly Ram or Sham, where this is Seeta Aur Geeta, but clearly they saw the success of Chalbaz and they were like, let's just make it again, like the thieves that they are. Just like, but also Kishen Kanhaiya was like a massive hit.
Yeah.
But it's just a trope that we don't necessarily want to see refreshed. Or at that time,
Bhai did Judwaa, and then Varun did Judwaa again, and I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon.
Yeah. But I want to actually, I won't, when you talk about the climax, I want to talk about the Judwaa and Chalbaz kind of thing, because I have some thoughts about that too. Amrita, like, what was it for you revisiting Chalbaz?
It was a lot of memories of not the film, but the circumstances in which I saw the film the first time around. Like these long summer afternoons at my auntie's house, watching this on a VCR, listening to the songs on a loop, recreating the dance moves, trying to do the expressions and failing every time. All of those things. But also, like, I was surprised at just how much of this movie that I remembered.
Is it this movie you remember, or because you've seen 7 versions of the same movie that you think you remember?
No, but like I remember, like the song where she's getting like a glass of water for Sunny Deol, and then they have like their little dream
Sexy
sequence. But I have like such a strong memory of Rohini Hattangady, like sort of peeping in on them on that bed and then going like, ha, ha, ha. It was like Mrs. Gandhi, like doing a voyeurism. I just remember that like so vividly. I remember Sridevi's Janet Jackson outfit with the permed hair.
Yeah.
Like I remember that really thing. It's like there's like weird things that I remember. When Rohini comes out with all that bad makeup on her face, and Anupam Kher goes, ah! Like, when he sees her. Like, I remember that. So these are like weird, like specific things about this film that I remember.
That makeup was weird because it felt weirdly racist to me. Like, I don't know about you. Like,
You
like,
know why that is, Asim?
yeah,
I know exactly why that is.
yeah,
Because it sort of looks like those little Dutch racist or like Belgian racist, like, I forget what the term is, but it's like little black boys,
yeah, yeah, 100%.
and they all have like the red lips and the
Yes,
black skin, and they're usually like holding up a table or something in a museum.
yeah,
And it's
yeah.
underscored by Viju Shah's background music, which is very much like Jungle Africa music, right?
No, it also remind me of those like very very old Bugs Bunny cartoons where somebody will get like a dynamite thrown
Yeah.
on them, and then
Yeah,
suddenly they'll become like a kind of a blackface character.
yeah.
Those are the things that, like, those iconography was really kind of sticking out to me. But because we're also already veering into social justice, territories, which we always do on Khandan, but I was watching Chaalbaaz, and thought that was screaming in my mind the whole time is how much this is a movie written by men with all men around. And that was one of those things that I just could not shake watching Chalbaz. Is that, the there's and I get this part where, because again we've seen this trope many many times, be it Judwaa, be it Kishen Kanhaiya, that the weaker character will be tortured, will
Yeah.
be put into peril. And that needs to show a level of cruelty, because when the vengeance comes from the stronger character, we really feel good about it, right? Like we're getting a kind of like a visceral reaction of it. But I felt the situation that Sridevi was put in, especially with Shakti Kapoor, and the kind of pitch of cruelty felt very like male, uh, like they were enjoying it. There was like some
Yeah.
Male
level of
fantasy.
enjoyment. Yeah, like fetishization of the way she's getting whipped and how much she's getting whipped and the way she's screaming and the way she's getting hurt, the way she's begging. I was like, these are some weird things where I was like watching it and feeling very uncomfortable with moments where I I've seen this in with male characters happen. Like we've seen this so many times, like say Kishan Kanhaiya. But there's a element to it when you switch those things around, especially when it's a male director, a
Yeah.
male writer, that certain moments started feeling icky to me. So Joy, did you have any of those feelings,
I
or
mean,
is it
the
just me?
whole entire Balma angle is completely like, yeah, it wasn't right then. It's not right now. Like the whole, like how Shakti Kapoor's character behaves with Anju
Anju.
is just mental. Like
Because it's also comedy in there. It's
yeah,
that,
it's
but
played
then
for
he's also
laughs,
some,
but then also
yeah.
he's playing a menace at times, and yeah, it's very not right.
It's funny because, like, if you compare this, like, you can just sort of like see how, like the gender dynamics change. Because if you see Ramosham, in which Pran plays the antagonist, right?
Hmm.
And Pran plays Dilip Kumar's brother-in-law, who is basically controlling him, and he is torturing Dilip Kumar, but he's doing it in a very um, he's also doing it in a very physical way. But he's like, beating him, he's starving him, all those sort of things. And then when it comes to Seeta or Geeta, I can't remember, but it was Manorama's brother. Like, it's the same dynamic as Chalbaz, except Balma is actually Rohini Hattangady character's nephew, right?
Hmm.
But in Seeta Aur Geeta, it's Manorama's brother. And it's also again, the thing is like, he's planning to like marry her and like all that kind of stuff. Just to keep and it's always like the violence always turns sexual when it's like a
Yeah.
woman,
Yeah.
right? Because that is the lowest common denominator. It's like the easiest way to convey threat towards a woman. Like, it's not enough to just like beat her down or inject her with things or poison her or starve her.
And all of
Or
that
just like,
happens in this movie.
yes,
All of that. It's not
yes,
like a, yeah,
like
it's taken
her,
from a template.
yeah, her spirit is broken. She's beaten. She's starved. Um, like things and people that she cares about are put in peril. Like all of those things happen, but it's also necessary to introduce a element of sexual violence, because that's how you really bring it home that this is a woman who's in peril.
And Sita and Geeta had the same kind of dynamics as Chalbaz, because I have not seen Sita or Geeta.
I cannot remember off the top of my head, but I know that there was like a thing where like she was being marked for like uh, for marriage, but it's a Salim Javed script, so I assume that it was a lot more refined and much better written, and this is basically a bastardization of those things.
Yeah. And the other thing that also kind of stood out to me, and in Chalbaz, and again, I've not seen Sita Gita. So the moment where the Shakti Kapoor is assaulting her, right, and she runs away to her room, and she doesn't lock the door to let him come in until he barges in again and stuff like that, and then the assault continues in her room to a certain degree. And I was just like thinking, like, this poor girl has no safe space. Like, there is no place, like, where even she runs away, she's only running away to her room. And I just felt so horrible
Yeah.
for her, and I understand the need that it needs to hit a certain level of cruelty for kind of that redemption arc to come later on. But this is where I'm thinking of why I don't like this trope necessarily compared to something like Judwaa. In Judwaa, they are connected. They have these feelings that if one hits the other, they will act. And I think in those movies, I like it more because there's a moment where the weaker character can get his comeuppance. Even though it's through a completely deranged filmic machination, but there's a moment where the stronger character is caged in and he's like punch mar, and then he's punching him, and you feel so good about that moment happening, whereas in this storytelling trope that never happens.
Yeah, Anju can only retaliate through Manju, but
Yeah,
she doesn't get her own personal victory in
yeah,
a way. Um, yeah, I get that.
There's also this there's this scene in the climax where Anju is telling Manju of all the things that happened to her,
yeah,
and that sort of like drives Manju to really go out there and like attack the bad people. But there's like an element of childishness to it, there's when Anju is, and Sridevi's whole gig was that she was like a child woman, right? Like that was I remember from the 80s and 90s, like the, oh, like she's such a child woman, and I always wondered what that meant when I was
It
reading it
can
at
be
the time.
like summarized in just one sentence, which happens in the movie, and that is "मैं मदिरा नहीं पीती जी." That is Sridevi, like
yeah.
in a nutshell.
And the giggling also,
Yeah.
so much giggling. Yeah,
Yeah, and there's like a way that she's like talking to Manju in that particular scene where she's just like the the characterization of Anju is like really as if she were a child, and I
yeah,
guess that would also make sense in terms of the movie, because Anju has been basically raised in a
Uh,
box,
in a
right? Like
prison. Yeah.
yeah, so she doesn't have like any real understanding of anything. Even when she is outside and she's living with Rajnikanth, the only way that she can really relate to him is with acts of service. Like she's
yeah.
cleaning up after him, she's, cooking him food, like all that kind of stuff. There's no like sense of like, who is Anju? What is she like? Because she doesn't have anything. So, in a way, that is like is a really good characterization, and like a really good acting choice. But also, it sort of exposes the fact that Anju is not a real character for this film. Like she's just a means for Manju to do XYZ.
Yeah. Good that Sridevi played both, though.
Yeah.
Okay, we're back. We had a little 1 week break because basically my internet completely went down. So we're now continuing our chat on Chaalbaaz. So if our voices sound slightly different, that's why this
The
is
big brother is totally blocking your internet, man. They're listening on us.
they're listening on us on all the crazy things we're saying, you know. So we were talking about Chalbaz. We want to jump into the guys because we've talked a little bit about. Let's talk about Rajnikanth. Let's talk about Sunny Deol. Because I like this is my era of loving Rajnikanth. Like as a Bollywood viewer, like
Mhm.
he made like 5-6 movies. I absolutely adored all of them, and then he just disappeared. And as a kid, like I wasn't that old, right? Chalbaz came out, I was like 8, 9. I was like, where did this guy go? I loved him. And I didn't know there was another cinema out there where he was a superstar. I just did not know. I just saw him and I thought he was the coolest guy ever. So that was my understanding of Rajnikanth back in the day. But what happened exactly? Did he came to Bollywood? Did a few movies and he said, I can't find my space. Is that what happened, Amrita?
I don't really know actually, because there was this time in like the late 80s to the early 90s where you had all these South Indian stars coming to Bollywood. Like you had Chiranjeevi, you had Nagarjuna, Rajnikanth, Kamala Hassan. And then, I mean, we even had like Mammootty trying, like I remember Dharti Putra that came out. And then all of a sudden, one day they all just like disappeared.
All of them just suddenly there was like, where did they go? There was no explanation. Like no, yeah, it was so weird.
And then we didn't see any South Indian star really for like the next like 2 decades. Um, Even like, I mean, people might say Madhavan, but Madhavan was never on that level of stardom as these guys. Like he wasn't like a huge star, a mass star. So yeah, like they all just like disappeared, and I don't know why.
I
Like
think
Venkatesh also did,
Yes,
right? Yeah.
yeah,
yeah,
I think probably Vijay Deverakonda is probably the next one that's kind of come, right? Like he's already an established superstar there, and
yeah.
now
Ram Charan tried with Zanjeer and then again
But
disappeared.
is Ramcharan
Ramcharan
really
wasn't that hyped. I feel like after Bahubali he became, but like
not
when he came,
Bahubali? He wasn't
oh,
in
sorry.
Bahubali.
RRR. But like when he came like to Bollywood, he wasn't that big. I feel like Vijay was like hyped up from Kabir Singh, and he was going to be like a big
Arjun
thing.
Reddy.
Yeah, Arjun Reddy. Sorry, and then yeah, Liger happened.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
took one movie.
But
uh,
can I say I don't really like Rajnikant in this movie necessarily?
I
Like
love him. I
the
love him in
yeah.
this
Go
movie.
ahead,
Yeah.
tell me.
His interaction with Sridevi about I आप मदिरा पियेंगे जी and like that whole flip that happens, that how he perceived Manju, and then Anju shows up and the flip that happens and he can't reconcile with it in every single scene, and
He
how
gets
it's
so angry. He gets so
yeah
like frustrated.
तो अभी तो शादी करेगी बोल रही थी. I love it. And then when they scheme to get back to the villains, and they play on this scene when Sunny drags him, and he's like, "ये सब scheme इसने किया था." Are you talking to Anju? And he's like, "No, ये मेरी beautiful whatever, मेरी अम्बा."
Yeah.
Where did that come from? क्या
Twist.
दिमाग चला है?
Shyamalan twist at the end of Chalbaz.
मेरी अम्बा. Boom. I freaking love it. And just I think there is a very Tamil accent there and they kept it for him. I really like that. They
I
didn't
love
try
it.
to
I love accents just generally. I
yeah.
think they're so cool. Even like when oh crap, now I'm like fully, I don't know what's happening today with names and stuff. It's even worse than normal. Who's the guy from company that I like so much? Company.
Mohanlal.
Mohanlal.
Mohanlal, yeah, he has like such a crazy accent when he speaks Hindi, and I love
Yeah.
his accent. I think it's
Yeah.
like the coolest thing ever. But yeah, Rajnikant, like he's full on. What did you think about Rajnikant and Amrita?
Love Rajnikanth. Like yeah, like this was like I remember him in like Hum. Like that is probably my favorite Rajnikanth movie that he
Yeah,
did in Hindi. But Chalbaz is like a close second for me. The part where like Manju comes in. Like Anju makes him throw away all his booze and he's like really mad. And then Manju comes in and goes like, "Where's your booze?" And
Yeah.
he's like, "What the hell is wrong with you?" And then he comes back with booze. And then Anju's there and Anju's like, "Oh, nahi, nahi ji, main madira nahi piti ji." And he's like, I'm gonna kill somebody right now. But like it was actual like comedy, like a lot of,
Comedy. Yeah.
because I mean I've said this before. There's a lot of like comedy in double quotes that I see, and I'm just like, this is not funny. But
Mm.
in this particular case, um, what you actually saw were like two people who were sort of equal in terms of stardom,
Yeah.
Mm.
you know like Sridevi and Rajni, like together, like they were just like, like barabar ka takkar,
Hmm.
they were like playing off each other, they were really comfortable with each other too. Like I believed that Manju and he were like buddies, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also believed that like Anju was like sort of like clinging on to him, as like the stronger character, and like I
And I love the mandir proposal scene when he asks her to marry him, and he was like, "तो शादी नहीं करेगी?" तो and then Anju says, "मैंने ऐसा तो नहीं कहा." Oh, Sri, so good. And then on the contrast, we have Sunny Deol.
I,
so
I think
I,
Sunny Deol was again in one of those dar situations where he thought he was the star and everybody ran away with the movie except
Yeah,
him. To the point, there's a certain moment where I don't even know where Sunny is. Like,
yeah.
like when they bring them back to their house because Sunny is ghayal and they're
Hmm.
taking care of
Sunny is
him,
Kyle. Ah, same.
and then like she's staying, Manju is staying in the house acting like
yeah,
Anju or whatever,
yeah.
vice
Yeah, yeah,
versa. And where is Sunny? I don't know, but there's like a
yeah.
stretch of
Has he
25
gone
minutes.
home or
Has
is
he
he
gone
still
home or
there?
is he still in the room? I don't know. Movie doesn't care.
Yeah.
Sorry, Amrita was
Even Sai
cutting.
Jeffrey doesn't care.
So Sunny and Shri were actually like a lead pair. Like they had like
Hmm.
multiple movies together.
Yeah.
And honestly, like I never cared for it. Like I don't even know why they were repeated so much, because like those Guru, but then Guru had Anil Kapoor and Sridevi as well. So I was like, that's obviously something that I care about. Like
But I think
Gurudev.
you just had
Gurudev.
five heroes and you just do the rotation, right? एक रिची के
Mm.
साथ, एक जैकी के साथ, एक अनिल के साथ, you just go around them and you do one and one by one, I think. But I don't think, like, yeah, it's like it's a weird one, and also like the dynamic, because like obviously he's the rich guy and then he's the one pulling Rajnikanth and you're like iska I didn't like that dynamic. I didn't like
No.
all of that. Yeah, and also he's like very aggressive towards which one
Manju.
is the
Manju.
Manju? He's very aggressive towards her. Actually, even Rajnikanth is. That's the point that I was making. That um, also Rajnikanth is kind of abusive to Sridevi's character, and just because she's coming from such a horrible place, that this is the only way that she can kind of deal with it, right? So
I mean,
everybody treats her badly, but then it's the 80s too, right? So this is probably not.
yeah, I mean, the whole thing with Rajni's character is that he's a lower class man. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
he drinks like desi sharab, and he has like very patriarchal ideas about what a good woman is like, etc. And
But then Sunny Deol also has those
Yeah.
patriarchal ideas, like
And he
when
has
his
no reason.
father,
He's high
uh,
class and drinking like imported daru. He's still
and,
like
uh,
that.
and he's drinking in the same theka.
Yeah.
exactly.
All patriarchy ends up in the same bar,
Yeah.
basically.
And when Said Jaffrey asks his son कि तुम्हें कैसी लड़की चाहिए when he's trying to marry him off, and he's like, oh, मैं जब घर आऊं तो मेरा पैर दबाए और मुझसे पूछे, and then the next shot is Manju saying एक beer. What an edit. मेरा दिल मतलब इतना.
Can I just add quickly? Like we're almost done with the 80s series now. We only have a couple of movies left. I'm just so glad of being done with Saeed Jafri very soon. So happy. We have one more. He's there again in Chalbaz. Oh, in Chashme Badur.
Yeah,
But yeah,
Maban
I'll be
Mia.
very happy when this is like put to bed after a while, because he is not convincing in any role, to be
Yeah,
honest.
Saeed Jafri is just Saeed Jafri,
Yeah, he's just
basically.
Saeed
Just
Jafri.
yeah.
like Sunny Deol is Sunny Deol, you know?
Let's talk a bit about the music too, because like I want to go to you guys first, because I feel this was this like a seminal soundtrack for you guys? Like, was this a big thing?
Yeah,
Mm.
Yeah.
yeah. It was a huge thing. Like Sridevi's performances in all the songs, like my God, like Na Jaane Kahan Se Aayi Hai was like
Yeah,
the anthem of that year. And also like like this was around the time that Bollywood was discovering like specific design for songs, because usually until then, it was just like, oh, you just wear whatever, and like, heroine apne kapde pehen ke aati hai, and then the hero wears his jacket, and then we'll go somewhere in Mahabaleshwar, and then we'll like do exercises on the hills, and like that's a song. But this film and then with Juma Chuma, these were like movies where they were like really paying attention to the song and the set design in the
yeah.
song, and like they were like trying to do like something like cohesive in terms of the visual narration. And I remember the transparent umbrellas
Hmm.
from Na Jaane Kahan Se Aayi Hai.
And the transparent raincoat as well that Sridevi
Yeah,
wears.
that was the rage. I remember everybody wanted to get like the transparent umbrella. It was a more innocent time.
Yeah.
Cheap merch. We wanted cheap merch.
Maybe we should
Plastic
lean
Taj
into that.
Mahals and clear umbrellas.
Wow. Um,
Ah. Yeah. What about you, Sujoy? Do you remember this stuff?
yeah. So this is a Lakshmikant parallel soundtrack, but when you hear it, you can clearly see the influence of Vijusha in it. Like he has clearly just discovered keyboards and electronic sounds, and he uses all of them. Like the if you hear Raste Mein Wo Khada Tha and Na Jaane Kahan Se Aayi Hai, both of them have like all the weird sound effects used in like equal measures, like
He had that
throughout the
little
song.
white Casio, and he could
Huh?
just like press the
Exactly that.
presets,
Exactly that. And but I like obviously these two are visual masterpieces. Then there is Tandav, the instrumental, which
Yeah.
Sridevi just lets go, and then obviously lands with a slap on Anupam Kher's face. Uh, yeah, that's like one of those montage pieces when you show an in memoriam of Sridevi, you have that bit edited into it. It's iconic as fuck.
Yeah. And there's also this one. What's it called? Mera Bimar, Tera Bimar Mera Dil,
Yeah, the
right?
low grade kaate nahi katte.
But it is like literally one of the most fun, the way that it starts with her with the water, and then she's like getting
I thought of you when I was watching that, because we recorded a whole video about weird fetishes of directors, and
yes,
it shows. And it's like when she was like, there was like water falling on her feet, and you were just like, this is like a really weird shot. Like, Pankaj, like, what are you telegraphing to us here?
I love that you addressed him with his first name. I Pankaj.
Yeah,
ये क्या किया तूने?
Pankaj kuch zyada ho gaya.
Yeah. I would also lastly like to mention Gadbad Ho Gayi, because this is one of those
yeah,
very few Bollywood comedy songs. And I remember in the 90s, there was this musical competition called Meri Awaaz Suno, hosted by Anu Kapoor,
yeah,
in which Sunidhi Chauhan won the competition. And that's how her career started, right? And there used to be a round where Anu Kapoor used to ask the contestants to sing a particular genre of song, a holy song, or a Tyohar song, which is not a holy song, a sad song, a romantic song, and a comedy song. And this is one of those very few Bollywood comedy songs. And weirdly enough, this also has Anu Kapoor in the movie version. And obviously there's Shakti, Kapoor, Anupam Kher, Rohini, Hattangady, all having fun. I really, really like this song,
This
and it's
song is
in
kind
the
of a banger, to be honest. Like, to be honest, this is like kind of a banger.
and it's also shot in the same sort of Ooty location where what's that the Tilu song, right?
I feel I've seen those woods so many times with those
Yeah.
skinny ass trees. You know, like I've seen
Yeah.
them so many
It's in
times.
Diwana with Teri Ummid Tera
Yeah,
Yeah.
Intezar. It's also in Raz with Bipasha playing the violin somewhere in the mist. It's all
yeah,
there.
yeah. I mean, I'd really like Kisi Ke Haath Na Aayegi. That's like
Mm-hmm.
the
The
best song,
Jane
and then
Kahan Se Hai.
Gadbad
Yeah.
Ho Gayi I really like too. The other songs not as much, I'll be honest.
Okay.
But like the thing with the Kisi Ke Haath is so amazing because when you look at Sridevi, what she's doing in that one song, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and we spoke about this with Madhuri when she was doing Ek Do Teen, right? She runs the gamut, you know, of every emotion, of every kind of dance. Like there's a point where I was thinking and watching Sridevi, and I was like, which other actress was Chaplin esque?
Mm-hmm.
It's only Sridevi. You know, that level of body confidence and comedy and talent and all of it together, she gets to be Chaplin. And no other actress could ever be Chaplin, and that was Sridevi, you know. And then she moves into a breakdance, which is
Yeah.
insane. Like she does it all.
It's very Michael Jackson in that setting as well. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
then she's
And within it, in Hath Na Aayegi, she also has a little reference to Nagina. Like her
Nagina.
eyes become like there's so
Right.
much in this one song, and
Yeah.
like you said, Vijusha also puts in this like weird synth interlude where they're all dancing like "Tuduru, tuduru,
Yeah.
tuduru." You know, it's like so cool. And then you have Sunny Deol trying to dance too, you know, like which is ridiculous. But yeah, she's amazing in it. The other song, Raste Mein, where she's dressed like Janet Jackson. I was watching it and I was like, is this shot in Club Angara?
Sata favorite club. Fardin kidhar hai?
Yeah, except पीछे खड़ा है, you know. They should have had Fardeen instead of Aftab Shivdasani. We haven't talked about him actually. He was like the worst character. He was like
Yeah.
Yeah.
just making sure that she was held captive in that house,
Yeah.
you know, like she was the
Yeah.
reason why she didn't run away before, right? Yeah. Um, Also, one thing I want to talk about because we're wrapping up, I guess it's with the big thing that with the twin movies is the shot where they come together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think this movie really stretches it out to the final end of it. And I think probably because obviously maybe I wonder if it was a budget issue because I was actually looking into this how they shoot these things, and it's not that expensive to be honest. So it's not necessarily a budget thing, but what they did really smartly to make it look real is so the way it works, you shoot one side and then you shoot the other side, and there's like an invisible
Mhm.
line where you don't cross over. But here what they do is they have Anju and Manju touch hands. I don't know if you guys noticed
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that is the cool part because it makes it real. So I'm just wondering, they probably had like a stunt double
Uh-huh.
have their hands like that and then her hands like that. But it's
And
just a
that's the left side of the scene, and the right side is just the frame of of Manju appearing next
yeah,
to her. Yeah.
exactly. So it's quite smartly done to kind of break that effect. But there's not a lot of it. Like if you think of Judwaa and stuff like that, you have the bathroom scene and all of these things happening.
But also, this is a lot more seamless than the Judwaa one. Like
Hmm.
the Judwaa one, you can see, like, it's literally as if somebody's put like a sticker tape in the middle.
But you know, David Dhawan is like, chalega, chalega,
Uh,
chalega.
yeah.
Next shot, next shot.
And he was right. He was
Yeah.
right. Dhawan, chalega. You know?
That particular scene, by the way, is like one of my favorites because I don't know if you've ever seen like videos of babies when they're twins,
Hmm.
when they're like babies together, they sort of like naturally gravitate towards each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they have a very tactile relationship with each other. And there's always like one baby that's like very expressive and the other baby is like very quiet. And then they're sort of like, and they really do sense each other,
Hmm.
like there's like been studies done about um, like for example, premature twins, and a lot of twins are premature. Um, if you put them together in the NICU, then they improve like drastically better than if you separate them, because they have that memory of each other. And when you see these two, like Anju and Manju, meet, and they immediately know, like obviously like Manju knows like what, what who Anju is, but Anju's also like immediately she knows, like, this is her sister. And she has that when she's complaining to Manju, and she's like
Mm.
explaining, like, like they did this to me,
Mm.
they did that to me. And the way she does it is like, like, you're my protector, like you're the person who's gonna take it. And she never does that with like any of the guys, like she
Mm.
never says that to like Rajnikanth or like anybody. But the moment like Manju comes, she's just like, you're the person. And
She
I love
finally
it.
has somebody on her side, like fully.
Yeah.
And I also like, in a way, that Manju is immediately calling her Didi,
Yeah.
like bigger sister. And it,
Yeah.
like, there's such a natural dynamic that they found each other by just having those little moments, like, you're my protector, but you're my Didi. Like, it's weird, but it just works. And I think a lot of it is the performance of Sridevi to be able
Yeah.
to pull off those characters. And also because we've just seen all of the horror she's been through, and it is quite horrific what she goes through throughout the whole movie. So I think when then Manju becomes like Super Saiyan in the last moments, you get it that she's like supremely pissed off at this moment, and she wants to exact revenge.
But I don't know. More than the climax, it was the moments where you first see what Anju had to go through, and the same scenes recreated with Manju. Obviously, Anupam Kher tries to beat her with the belt, and then when he tries to do that with Manju, she's like, "Wait, I'm the hunter, Wally now."
Yeah, yeah.
Or the most satisfying to me was when they go to the bank and Manju is like, "No, this is my money. I'm gonna keep it." Like I'm like, oh, what a flip! I love that. I love that shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Any other final notes you guys had that you want to talk about? Like,
Yeah, I want to talk about the fashion in this movie, because when it came out, it was the rage.
you
Like,
tell me about this, because obviously I wasn't there. For me, it was just like any other weird Indian movie where the fashion is 10 years later than the fashion I'm living. But please do tell me.
remember specifically the outfit from Najane, where she's wearing those dungarees.
Hmm.
Mm.
And that was, I think, the first time that, or it kind of been the first time that we saw a main lead. But I think like the only other person that I can think of that was rocking them was like Bindya Goswami or something. So like
Is
this is
Huckleberry Finn, Bindya Goswami, Sridevi.
so I remember like begging my mom to like buy me like a pair of dungarees, because I just wanted to like wear what she was wearing.
I,
Um,
f- I feel this is like a feminine quest that goes throughout lifetime, finding the best dungaree, and you will never manage to find it. You're always looking for it. And it's like, it happened with Katrina Kaif in Jagga Jasoos.
yeah. But like it was just such a moment. And then like the Janet Jackson outfit, obviously, and then
Hmm.
she had like the
Hmm.
perms were a huge deal in the 80s, right? Like
Yeah.
everybody was wearing the perm. And yeah, this was like the first time that you saw people wearing like quote unquote modern outfits that didn't look like costumes. Like the way Manju was dressed. And now, as I'm speaking, I just remember the the scene where Balma tries to assault Manju, and he's like pulling on her sari, and she just like twirls around and like throws it at him.
And the way she does it, like, I'm such a damsel in distress. Like, तू आ अभी, तू आ अभी, मैं तेरी ऐसी धुलाई करूंगा. Oh yeah.
Anyway, but like the way that Manju was dressed, like she was always just like she was just like effortlessly cool the way that she was dressed. For like the 80s, she had like the sneakers and like the baggy jeans, and it was just like a cool vibe. um, and I really enjoyed it. Like it was probably like I don't know if it was an iconic movie fashion wise, the way that say Hum Dil De Chuke Sanam or something came out, and then everybody wanted to dress like Nandini. I don't know if that was true because I was like, maybe it was. I don't know. I was like really
Yeah,
young, so
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
remember. But it should have been, even if it wasn't.
Hmm. I mean, there's no specific male fashion I can say that Sunny
You
Deol's look.
you didn't want to dress like Rajnikanth with his jacket.
He was very like scarf heavy, right? Like there was a lot of scarf
Uh-huh.
action going on. Like that's very Rajni. Only Rajni can
And
pull that off.
the glasses.
Yeah, he did
Yeah.
have the glasses moment. Yeah, it is. I was watching the glasses moment though, and I was like, why didn't he do a second shot? Because those glasses do not look like he didn't pulled it off really
Yeah.
well. They were like all crooked and stuff. But chalo, but this is one of those. The main problem I have with this movie, and I do have this problem. I feel Pankaj Parashar as a director, he's full on committed, excited at the start of the movie. And then somewhere throughout the rest of the movie, he just kind of loses track of the movie to the point where it ends with my least favorite thing, which is a voiceover to kind of end the movie, right?
Yeah.
Like they, yehua, and that's it. And it feels like either they ran out of money or they ran out of budget or just interest in the movie. And it doesn't matter because the movie was a massive success and stuff like that, but I do feel that there's something missing in terms of how the movie should have ended, like these things with Sunny Deol disappearing, like this not second shot of Rajnikant with the glasses, like a lot of these things are like what happened in this movie. And a lot of times in the 80s they pull it off and it's a success, nobody talks about it, but I could feel it watching it.
Yeah, like, that's pretty much the 80s experience because a lot of
Yeah,
these movies, not a lot, like all of these movies were being made without a script.
yeah,
So people were literally coming to the set and like, aaj kya likhenge? Like, this is
yeah,
the
yeah,
scene that we will write. And
Yeah.
then giving people, and the fact that Sridevi was able to deliver such a cohesive performance in spite of that is the reason why she's the greatest of all time, right?
yeah.
But I completely understand like why Sunny just like disappeared and why he's just so lackluster and stuff because he has like no idea what his character is doing most of the
Yeah.
time. Um,
And the point that I also earlier made that this is a very movie made by men, even
yeah,
though it's centered around, and it feels throughout the movie, it feels that way. And I was like, remember a rumor a couple of years ago that Farah Khan was going to remake Chalbaz? Like that happened like a
Yeah.
couple of years ago. Imagine what could have been, like, and Farah has her own issues with women and how she portrays them and men and stuff like men like that. But I think the comedy, the zaniness of it, the female centric. But
who's
could she?
gonna do it?
That's exactly who she can make it. But can she find another Sridevi? I don't know. Like I don't know if there's anybody out there. Like if they would remake it, who would you cast from the current crop? Right?
Genuinely, yeah, no, because like everyone talks about how Alia is the best of her generation, and it's true, she is the best of her generation, but she does not have the comedic chops to do this.
Anushka, maybe?
She's retired, man. She's
Yeah,
like done. Like yeah, she
she's
might have been the closest one, but can she pull the audience like Sridevi could? Right? Like I don't know. Like I would have gone first day, first show, obviously, but
maybe in terms of performance, give her a couple more years, and I think Shavari Wagh could do it. Because I've
That's a
seen
good
her
one.
in Maharaj, and she's actually
Yeah,
got
yeah,
comedic chops.
yeah,
And she's definitely got the dramatic chops for it, but she doesn't have that star power.
yeah.
So I don't know.
I mean, 97 ki ladkiyan could pull it off. Like I could see Rani doing it. I see
Karina,
Karisma, Karina. That
Karishma,
era.
Ravina.
Yeah. All of those could do it, but like आजकल की लड़की
नहीं, हमारे जमाने की लड़कियां.
97 की लड़की. Chalo, and on that note, I think that's
अरे
it for.
मेरे पास नहीं
Oh,
आए तो
sorry. All note. Or go
I
ahead.
have
Go
some
ahead.
notes.
Note से याद आया.
My sister used to say Anupam Kher's nose makeup is basically him dipping his nose in a atta ka mixture and let that set in. So I will include that. Also, Tribhuvan, he celebrates his birthday party by bringing Hindustani classical players. So he's a cultural connoisseur. And
Anupam Kher, man. That's just Anupam Kher. That's
yeah.
how he parties. Like,
And there is a direct nod to Seeta Aur Geeta when Manju introduces herself. And I think it was Anupam Kher's character. Tribhuvan asked him, "Tumhara naam kya hai?" And she was like, "Mera koi bhi naam ho sakta hai. Sita, Sakina ya Suzy." And that's a direct nod to Seeta Aur Geeta. I love that. And I think that's it.
good. Okay. Final words on this was not streaming anywhere, was it? Chaalbaaz? I think we
I saw it on YouTube,
was it.
so
Yeah,
I don't.
YouTube, right? So I mean, yeah, it should be on Prime. Like I feel people should be able to revisit it. I'm not even sure if my version had subtitles or not. I'm not
I
100%
haven't
sure.
seen.
But yeah, it's a shame that like a female driven big hit movie is not available for people to watch, because I think definitely it's something that people should revisit. It's kind of like a cool one to watch. So it is available on YouTube if you want to. Sujoy, where can people find you online?
You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, and not so much on Twitter anymore or Blue Sky, but my handle is at the rate 93K, and you can follow Khandan Podcast on all our socials at Khandan Podcast.
Amrita?
You can find me less and less these days on Twitter at Amrita IQ, but the most, um, I would say, reliable way of keeping in touch with me is to join our Patreon, which you can join for as little as $1. You can also join for free, but like you'll get access to most of our content if you join as a paid member. And I do these weekly catch ups. They're supposed to be for like 5 minutes, but as some of my friends pointed out, at this point, it's basically a full on episode. But we post like a whole bunch of extra content on our Patreon. Like we talk about other movies that we've seen. We talk about like streaming stuff. We talk about what's going on in our lives. It's a fun, friendly place to be. So if you would like to hang out with us more, I highly recommend you check out our Patreon.
Yeah. Patreon is the way to go. I also do like a monthly catch up video where I talk about my letterbox, which I'll be doing actually in a couple of days. I didn't do it last month because we were recording and traveling. I'm also making TikToks again. So follow us on TikTok Khandan. I dropped one and I'm planning a few other ones. So that's a way to follow us. I also am not too much on Twitter and it's funny with Twitter, right? Like before we used to just like post random thoughts, and now it's like I don't feel like it. Like, I don't want to talk about this anymore. So yeah, that's kind of gone down the drain. But yeah, drop us an email at youpodcasting@gmail.com, and thanks for being here.
Khandan podcast from VIP Glottis. Papa, are you podcasting again?